Welcome back to Tap That AZ. We're in Mesa at Mesa's very first brew pub, the Beer Research Institute. There's a lot of expectations of what breweries should be doing, but these guys, they don't give a shit. They do whatever the hell they want to do. Let's tap into Beer Research Institute.
You brew what you want to drink. That's what you brew.
Yeah.
And we definitely opened this place with that, with that mentality.
All right, here we are. Here we are with the Beer Research Institute. Welcome to Tap That AZ. I'm your host, Eric Walters. Today we're at Mesa's first brew pub. Right?
Correct. Mesa's first brew pub.
Beer Research Institute. I'm hanging out with Matt, Colby, and Greg since 2014, right?
It's a fact.
You guys have been doing pretty much whatever the hell you want, is what it boils down
Pretty
to.
much.
It's kind of how we do it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's tap into Beer Research Institute. Guys, 3 years. Just celebrated 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Just crossed that 3 year mark. Yeah.
Nice.
3 full years.
Friday was our actual 3 year anniversary. We opened on the 17th of November in 2014, and last weekend we celebrated that anniversary with a big party. Most of you that are probably listening to this were there.
Having fun.
It was a blowout. We had an amazing day, packed the house, got to showcase a brand new beer that we did specifically for the anniversary, which is the same thing we do every year. Make a big showcase beer, but had a great time, and definitely I think we gave beer to the masses that day.
Nice. But so you two started this. So this was like garage beer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Homebrew roots.
Just so you said I can freestyle today, right?
You do whatever
Okay.
you want, Matt.
So,
Yeah, I prefer
just,
you do.
Just a couple of dumb dicks that really liked craft beer.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that Greg and I, when we formed our friendship, it was over a couple of beers, and we got to really enjoy each other's time and company, and learn what each other liked, feeling each other out as friends, and that craft beer was definitely was some glue there. And Greg grew up in a craft beer community. He'll tell you more about that later. So it was always in his bones and always in his blood. And I came to it a little bit later on in life, but by the time we met each other, we both really, really loved craft beer and we were passionate about it. And I grabbed a homebrew kit one year. I got a gift card for Christmas, and I said, I know what I'm doing with it. And I went down to the homebrew supply store, as you do. I spent my money locally and, didn't order it all online, but went down and supported my community and bought a homebrew kit. And I banged out a couple batches, and was just kind of trying to get my feet under me and just, really just trying to figure out what I was trying to do. And after a couple batches, Greg and his wife came over one night, and we were having dinner and drinking some beers, and we went out in the garage and opened up the refrigerator, grabbed some beers, and he saw the homebrew set up in the buckets.
This?
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing here, man? And so I was like, hey, I started homebrewing, it's fun. And next words out of his mouth was, next time you fire that thing up, let me know and I'll come over, and he did. And then like after that first time,
So you know, everybody says, "Oh yeah, let me know next time you're brewing. I'll come over. I'll help."
And none of them
and
do.
usually
None
they
ever
come
do.
over and get trashed and watch you do whatever you're doing.
They might clean a part or two, but
Yeah.
But he came over and arms in up to his shoulders with me, getting dirty and brewing beer, and we just had such a good time. And we were already great friends, and it just made sense that every time from that point forward, we were like, this is now our hobby, right? And we're gonna do this
And then it
together.
was like, hey, what can we do to build this system up better? Well, I don't know. We have 4 pockets, so let's see how much money we got in
see if
those
we
4
can drain
pockets and see what we can do here.
And we did, and then it's making excuses to your wives about, hey, so yeah, I just spent a couple $100, and on that homebrew thing, yeah.
And again with that homebrew thing.
So the story we like to tell is that we started homebrewing as friends, and we started off making really shitty beer. And then we started making less shitty beer, and then less shitty beer, and then sooner or later it was good beer, and it was like remotely palatable, and and then it got better and better and better, and we had a dedication to doing something Greg and I are both hands-on guys. We like to do our own thing. We like to be self-sufficient. We like to know how to build things and break things down and do our own thing. And so it was just, it was within our wheelhouse to take brewing seriously and try to make the best homebrew we could. And, obviously at first it was, let's just make homebrew for us. And that's all we were doing.
Yeah.
And,
it went from making 5 gallons and splitting 5 gallons to, wait a minute, let's do 10 gallons and split 5.
We're being horribly inefficient. Let's make more beer.
Let's make more beer. Oh, wait, now we need more kegs to put that beer in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's buy more things.
All of our kegs are full. Let's have a party.
And let's drain those kegs. And hey, let's go buy more kegs.
And let's go buy more kegs. Hey, we have 10. Do you think we need any more?
What? It was a great opportunity for us to geek out, obviously, because I think anytime you dive deep into a hobby, if you don't geek out on it, you're just kind of fiddle fucking around, really. And we decided that we wanted to take it seriously. And as homebrewers, no further aspirations. Just as homebrewers, we wanted to be able to knock out the best beer that we could. And
Now, early when you guys were brewing, were there certain styles that you guys geared towards?
100%.
Yeah, but when you're homebrewing, it's different. IPAs are really hard to nail when you're homebrewing, and we used to like, just the hoppiest thing you can put in your mouth, and then we had to kind of dial things back and go, well, let's make a good beer first, and let's worry about the hops later. So there was a lot of pales and ambers and a vanilla porter that we
made a great point there.
That we made.
We tried swinging for the fences on APAs, right?
Everybody wants to do a Pliny clone, right?
And you don't have your water right, and you don't understand like hop schedules right, and so you're just making these bitter, muddled bombs of beer.
Yeah. They're definitely beer. Yeah, we know the ingredients to make beer.
We drank every drop, but like you're making this thing that's not awesome. But you're just trying to swing for the fences, and we had to take that step in there where we're like, hey, let's just step back a couple steps and work on some fundamentals, get our water right, get our grain schedules right, get our hop schedule, play with those hop schedules,
clean fermentation,
to where we can figure it out.
Yeah.
So it was a process for sure. But to answer the direct question is what we have always been passionate about is that West Coast style IPA, that dry punch to the head IPA. And then Belgian beers, Belgian beers have always really had our attention. High ABV, usually finishes nice and dry, super funky fermentation that has a much different yeast attraction than a very clean fermented IPA. So we had kind of our feet in those two houses for sure. West Coast IPA, Belgian style beers, that's what we like to drink. Yeah. And as a home brewer, solid home run, you brew what you want to drink. That's what you brew. Yeah. And we definitely opened this place with that, with that mentality. We're going to brew what we like to drink, and we hope that everybody else likes it. And I'd say for the most part, we've stayed true to that. Every once in a while, we'll jump on a trend, and we'll do some things that we think, hey, our portfolio needs to be rounded out, so let's add this into it and things like that. But for the most part, the three of us, we make the beers that we want to drink. And I think that that's what really carries through from our homebrewing days. And Colby was a homebrewer to start as well, and he's got a lot more commercial experience than us. But the three of us as homebrewers, we can look at this and go, well, let's brew what we want to drink. And we think that we're representative of the masses in craft beer. So let's make that, and let's hope that everybody else likes it. And I think we've been pretty fortunate in that.
I think it shows. Yeah, you guys. Well, and doing the Belgian styles too. Those aren't super popular. There's not a lot of places, at least throughout the valley, that are doing the Belgians.
And we don't understand why.
Yeah, I love them. I love the Belgian styles. Yeah,
we'll take it though. We'll throw that sack on our back and we'll carry it for everybody if we need to.
Yeah.
It's something that we're passionate about and we do really well. So we want to keep pushing that out.
Yeah, well, and I think when I first met you, I just came in for lunch one day and we chatted for about 20 minutes. And that's what you said. You said this place, not just the beer, but the whole encompassing thing is not in a selfish way, but you guys did it for what you wanted to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to.
We wanted to be as genuine as possible. And if people like what we're doing, then we're going to keep on doing it. Yeah. And it's from the heart. And I think people get that.
Yeah.
And I think where that comes from is that, so Greg and I, over the course of our, ramping up to this, I used to travel a lot for business. Greg used to travel a lot for leisure, and we go clearly where we traveled were beer hotspots. And we got influenced by a lot of amazing breweries that did really, really good things. Also learned a lot from quite a few breweries about what not to do.
Yeah.
But between the two of us, we had been to about 300 breweries before this place opened. And we wanted to, when we looked at all those breweries and the places that we had been to that we really enjoyed, we realized immediately that we definitely wanted to do a brew pub. Those were the places that we gravitated to, places that had great food and great beer, and they were paired together.
Okay.
And so when we designed this, we designed a place that we wanted to hang out at. Like, you know, if you're going to make a brewery, like, make it a place that you would want to go to all the time, that you'd be a regular at. And so that was kind of the design, is like, where do we want to hang out? And we basically, like, this is still a garage brewery, and we're sitting there homebrewing and inviting people into the driveway to, you know, to hang out with us. And, you know, we don't ask them to clean kegs anymore, but, you know, for the most part.
You know, one question we don't get anymore? The occasional person that used to drive by and real slow and then stop and roll their window down and, what are you guys doing in there? We're making beer. Okay.
Good answer.
Good answer.
What did they think? Like, what?
We had people that drove past the house that thought we were making meth.
All past the house.
Past the house in the garage.
It's like, dude, we're making meth in the driveway. Of course, of course, that's what we're doing.
Right in plain sight.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a couple of jackasses, but we're not fucking idiots. So, I'm making meth in my driveway.
Yeah.
So, place that you guys wanted to be, stuff you guys wanted to drink, and you guys built this place, right? I mean, not just like, hey, we want this is what we've done.
Yeah, this existing side, we did the majority of the construction, us and our friends, and you know, we burned the candle at both ends, doing whatever we could to open this place, and we did it on a very, very, very small budget, and it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
We're so thankful we hired a GC for this this extension, because that's a huge load off.
Trying to do the expansion while you're trying to run a business is just, I mean, that's a fool's game, man. You can't do it. You can't do it effectively. We had the luxury of having time to build this first side, and I'm glad we did it, and Greg is as well. You know, like, when everywhere we look in this place, we see what we did.
We know every square inch of it too. We know how all of it works. We know where everything came from. We know how it got to this, you know, this stage right now. And it's easy to manipulate when you know where everything's at.
For sure.
That's true.
It feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you come in there, you got that pride of like, I did that.
It's that sense of pride for sure. Like we like every once in a while we still look at each other and we look at it and we go, yeah, we did that.
Yeah,
we did that. It's cool.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We did all this except for this beautiful sign behind us, which was a gift from a friend that we didn't even know he was making. He just pulled up here one day right after we opened and said, "Here, I got something for you. It's going to go on that wall." I was like, well, what does it look like? Well, I don't know. Come over here and look at it. Holy cow, look at that sign.
That's awesome.
We turned it on we installed it probably 2-3 days later. Haven't turned it off since. Those neons have been kicking the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a nice glow.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool. Like that's probably the sweetest example, right? But it's cool when you own a brewery, when you open a brewery, and you're speaking to the people, right? Like, you're connecting with people. Like, this is we've created something that, like, we used to have our spot that we used to go before this was here, and now we have customers that, like, this is their spot. We did that. Like, so that's way cooler.
This was
than
my
building
spot
this table.
before I started working here.
True.
Like, I poked my way in.
Creeping its way in.
Aggressively.
And inappropriately.
Very, very, there was no subtlety involved with it. Colby was like, I want in.
I want in. How do I get here?
He didn't even spit on it. He just put it right
in.
So, like, that's one example. But, like, our customers that love this place have brought us so many little treasures, man. Just so many little things that are like, hey, like, I was someplace and I was thinking of you guys, and here you go. When you look at it like that, like, every neighborhood, especially when you're in a market of 4.5 million people, every good cluster of neighborhoods can definitely support a small brew pub. Now, can they support a giant industrial packaging facility? No, and that's not appropriate. But your small local independent brew pub that's doing, 3 to 5 barrel batch production, that's making quality craft beer and food and experiences, sure, this valley can hold a lot more, and this state can hold a lot more, and this country can hold a lot more. It just really depends on what everybody's mindset is on what they want to do with their business plan. So I think that everybody that gets into the brewing game thinks, oh, I want to be Anheuser-Busch, or oh, I want to be Four Peaks or Santan. And, if that's your site, then go for it. But I think that the smaller footprint, the Osos and the Oros and the BRIs and the 12 West and the places that are small and hyper localized, man, I think that's where it's at. And I think that our market can handle a lot more of it as long as it's quality.
Right. I think that's one thing that what I feel is going to happen is it's going to be like a shakeout of kind of like if you're just in it for the wrong reasons and you're
going to shake out the fakers, man.
Yeah, exactly. But good. I mean, I think every industry needs that.
100%.
Yeah.
So there's, anybody out there can say, hey, I want to open XYZ, right? And you can do that. There's no question about it. Can you sustain? And that's really the question. So if you're going to sustain in this industry, I think you got to be real. Like Greg said earlier, you got to be genuine. You got to know who you are and what you do. And you better be ready to swing, man. Because you got to make great beer. You got to give great service. You got to have an amazing environment. You got to have a reason for people to show up. And if you look at us, like we're here on a Sunday afternoon, place is packed. Everybody's having a good time. And they're not just here for the beer, and they're not just here for the food. They're not just here for the experience. They're here for that trifecta of all that, and they're having a good time. Yeah. That's really what it's all about. Yeah. If you can't deliver that package, don't do it. Yeah. And if you're just a homebrewer that's never done retail or customer service or anything like that, don't do it because it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, a lot more into it than people expect.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Oh, yeah.
So the music in here too. Every time I come in here, the music's kick ass. Like it's not. I want to say normal. It's stuff that's kind of a little bit off track, popularity wise, but so good, right? You're not playing top 40 hits here. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and we appreciate that, man. That's obviously clearly it's intentional. So we got four main veins of music. We got punk, funk, rap, and reggae, right? And it's not all the stuff that you would normally hear in a place of business, but I think what it does is it speaks to our stance of anti-establishment, right? We want to go against the grain a little bit. We don't play in everybody else's color palette. We do what we do, and we try to do the best job that we can do at that. And I think that the music reflects that as well. It's our vibe, right? Yeah. So it's some SoCal reggae, right? It's some hip hop that we grew up on. It's that
it's
late
what speaks
80s
to us. It's our soul music. It's
mid 90s punk scene, right? It's all that says F you establishment. We're gonna do what we want, and that really is like the bones of what Greg and I do, and like what we represent is F you, I won't do what you tell me, right?
Yeah, low rage.
Right.
Yep.
So it's like that kind of a thing. And we try to keep a little bit of a lid on it, but I think that music needs to speak to who we are, and I think it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it also helps you guys make badass beer. Colby, that's where you come in.
All right.
Look at that smile on his face. He's like, "Yep, that's what I do."
That's me. That's what I do.
Yeah. So, he was saying you have a pretty big commercial background brewing, right?
I've been commercial brewing for about 7 years now.
Okay.
So I started up in Lake Havasu, opening up College Street, and was working at Barley Brothers concurrently, and then came down to Four Peaks, and then bounced from there over to here. So.
Nice. So you were at Four Peaks before here, and then come over here.
Correct. Yeah.
So what you need to take away from that, the takeaway, is that our brewer worked for the largest brewing company in the world.
That is a true story.
Wow.
And we were able to say, hey, come to the dark side.
Dark side.
Well,
Wait a minute, that's a Blue Saber. Don't worry about it. Just come on.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Come on
Come on,
anyways.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You'll never have to mention that name again.
We'll fix that lightsaber. Don't worry about it.
So they brought you aboard, and they just said, do what you want?
Yeah, for the most part, these are the cores we want to keep on all the time, and then other than that, go for it. So a lot of times it's just, hey, I want this style of beer. Make it happen.
Yeah.
And
magic pixie dust, and
and
it's
he
there.
does.
And he does.
Or as in case of the one I'm drinking, Space Melon, it was, hey, we got this Hallertau Blanc. I want you to do something with it. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll make an IPA with it, and it's fantastic. Tastes like melons. So
I haven't tried that. I've tried like 5 of them. That's not the one. That's not one I've tried. I got to get one more done here for sure.
I think what's cool about what we do with Colby is, first of all, I think it's important to state that like we developed a friendship, a brewing industry friendship with him, and we loved hanging out with the dude. And when he was down in town from Havasu, this was his place.
Mhm.
This is where he was getting his nightcap. This is where he was getting his happy hour, and
This is where I sat and did about 8 hours of my OSHA training on the computer. Sat in the corner drinking beer, doing my OSHA training.
As you should.
I was gonna say not the best place to do OSHA training, but so we had a great friendship early on in our career as pro brewers. That still sounds weird.
I know, but hey,
Still sounds weird, but I guess it's what it is. So early on into that, we had a great relationship with Colby, and we did a collaboration out at College Street. And I think like that trip and that brew session is what really solidified everything. Like we were all just syncing on the same level. We had a great time. The rapport was awesome, and something that's super
The
important.
beer was awesome too.
Well, the beer was amazing.
That helps.
I had blueberries floating in my big blue van. It was an experience. It was amazing.
We stickered up Chunk's mouth.
That's right.
There's all kinds of stuff that happened on that trip.
We had
I don't know what
a
that
great
means.
trip, and you don't need to. It's cool. It's cool.
Stick it up Chunk's mouth.
When you take a trip to Havasu and interview
show
those
ya.
guys, you can
We'll
ask
show
them
ya.
about chunks.
Okay.
So we had a great experience, and so what's really important to Greg and I is that everybody that works here is at the height of their game, right? We want the best people in their game. We want the best bartenders, best servers, best kitchen staff. We want the best brewer, no question. So all those that's fundamental. That's foundation, right? And then what's very important is that this is our house. So when you come in here, you're invited into my house. So I want to be able to look at you every day, and I want to be able to tolerate you every day, and I want to be able to have fun with you every day. We want to be a family here. And so like when we had this amazing rapport with Colby, and it was very, very obvious that Colby was family. Like he was on the same plane that we were operating on. And we're like, this dude's going to be an amazing fit here. He's going to be able to spread his wings and do whatever he wants, and he's going to be able to play our game and fit in with what we do. That's super important.
Yeah.
Super important.
That's key, right? I mean, and I think that's kind of where, I mean, just any industry is going, is the right fit for the place.
If you don't have that, it ain't going to work.
Yeah, you could have the resume that's, longer than his beard, but,
Whoa.
That's a long resume.
Whoa.
it's not possible.
It's a pretty long beard.
It's not possible.
So it's just about as long as Colby's resume.
pretty much, yeah,
Pretty much,
exactly.
pretty
Yeah. But it's that fit, man. I think that's awesome. Like it's like we can train you on these things.
Almost anything.
Yeah. If you're an awesome person, come on in, man. We'll show you what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
For sure.
still like 2 months into working here, and I woke up and I was in here working. And I was like, I'm at work right now. Like,
Yeah.
it's that kind of feel working here. It's just
Like you had to remind
it's
yourself.
not work. It's
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. Nice. So
Oh, it's work sometimes.
It's fun,
Yeah.
and we get shit done.
Yeah,
he's looking at me winking. He's like,
Yeah, they say, hey, Colby, easy guy.
Oh, hey. Oh,
hey.
hey. So the beers. What are the flagships? So my favorite, like, taste and logo, the 480G. I mean, dude. Yeah. Why? First of all, why easy? Like, why was it easy? Not why like Ice Cube or Dre or.
Who started it?
So
Easy fun.
I'm not debating that.
I mean, he
I
hasn't
love
been here for
easy.
years,
Yeah.
but he started it.
Yeah.
the image is iconic in that that image is easy, and the only thing we changed was he had Compton written across his hat. And as soon as we saw that, we're like, we can easily pull that Compton out and throw a 480G on there. And so honestly, it was just laziness. It was like, oh shit, that's easy.
Right.
Wait, hey, what did I do there? What did I do?
Yeah.
So but like I think that easy is if you look back at that whole gangster rap started with NWA, no question, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if you look at the distinctive sound of NWA, what set it apart, it was easy. And so it was either, did he have the best flow? Was he the best? He didn't write shit.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. but he created that sound. And so I think that the image and who he was and what he represents, it's iconic. And so when you think about the OGs, when you think about, the music that we grew up listening to, when you think OG, I think Eazy-E, man. And when you go 480 OG, it's a play on words. It's 480, that's where we're from. It's OG. We were the first brew pub in Mesa, 480 OG and Eazy-E. I don't know if it all makes sense. It makes sense to us, and that's all that matters.
Right.
Works for us.
I think it does though too. Because he was the one that was that was his lifestyle. It wasn't just hey, I'm going to play it up to.
Yeah, he lived it. He breathed it.
Oh, he wasn't a rapper.
Yeah.
No, he was straight street thug, right?
Yeah.
So he was slinging dope and doing bad things,
right.
and with that whole iconography of gangster rap, that was his life. And so I don't know, man. You grow up on that. You grow up listening to that and the imagery, and it resonates.
Yeah. Yep. So the beers. That's one of the flagships, right?
That's the flagship.
That is the flagship.
That's
the OG.
That's the baby maker right there.
Right. So is there a handful of ones here that were from the start, where you got the 480 OG?
The Lolly was from the start. We've been brewing that since day one, batch one.
You don't see that very much either. You don't see a Belgian blonde or anything blonde.
That's our number 2 selling beer. And it's our number 1 and number 2 beers are 8% and 8.2%. Tell me, name one other brewery.
Yeah.
Name one other one in Arizona.
I don't think I can.
There aren't any. Our beers are big, and they're unapologetically big. So that Lolly's a game changer, man.
Lolly's when Bud Miller Coors crowd comes in and they're like, well, I don't know about craft beer, and we're like, all right, you need a Lolly. That's our intro to beer.
Yeah.
And it's not a small one either. And people dig it. We sometimes tell people, hey, that's a Belgian Pilsner. Because they understand Pilsner, and there's Pilsner malt in there. So, hey, this is your gateway beer.
Right.
8%. Be careful.
Right. Sneaky. Yeah. Well, I think the lightest ABV on here is 5.8, right? The Morning Sex, 5.8. That's impressive.
On any given day, if you average out our ABVs, you're going to be sitting at 7.5, 7.8 is kind of where you're going to be sitting.
Seasonally, we come up with a wheat that's about 5%, our Mo wheat. We also do that with prickly pear, so those are both right around 5%. We did a session New England style IPA with prickly pear as well, featuring laurel hops, which paired really, really well with the prickly pear. That was at 4.9. So. We don't do a ton of beers that are really light in ABV, but we do some. But they're gonna have some flavor to them.
Yeah,
that's for sure. It's not gonna be just a boring old basic beer.
No, there's no boring basic beers on this entire list. I do see a couple of northeastern styles. Those are pretty polarizing, one or the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hazy ones.
People love them or hate them.
Kobe's got the big spot on his face.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't like them when I first started. I was like, I have to learn how to make beer the wrong way to make it hazy.
Right.
And then we've cranked out a few good ones, and I'm converted.
It took me a while too, because I felt like I was drinking a mimosa.
Colby and I are on the same page. Neither one of us really like the idea of it, and I think we still both don't really love the look of it. The aroma and the flavor, man, you get great results, and it's hot right now. We're moving a lot of it, so
yeah. And the way you make things, is that are you just kind of the ingredients and what you want to make? You conform to the style as much, because I know some places are very traditional, right?
I mean, when I'm writing recipes, if it's like an IPA, I'll kind of pull up an IPA style guideline to kind of have a
little bit of a path.
But for the most part, it's we want to make a hoppy beer with this hop and these grains and put it together, and sure, it's an IPA.
Yeah.
I think
if those are the style guidelines.
I think if you strictly look at style guidelines, I think that you'll very rarely find one of our beers that actually fits into the box.
Fits perfectly in the box. It fits sort of in the box.
Right on top
of it. It's in the zone for sure. It's in the zone.
We don't like to color in the lines.
We don't really care for boxes.
Yeah.
We like to take a lot of ingredients too, and how can we infuse this differently? Or how can we cross, a couple different beer styles by adding ingredients at different times? Yeah. So we use the process and how you should add the ingredients or how you should not add them to come up with some of the tweaks and things that we use.
Or whether you should even use the ingredients at all. Like when we made the honey nut Hoppios, that just started as a joke between me and Greg. Like, why don't we use honey nut Cheerios? And he's like, okay. So
well, hey, I always want to put breakfast cereal in a beer. Hey, let's do it.
Kobe was like, shit, I was just kidding, man.
I
like,
was.
No, I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm ordering all this stuff right now. Let's go.
Yeah.
There's a pallet of Honey Nut Cheerios.
And when that beer launched, it people obviously when we launch a new beer, everybody wants to try it. But it's a great seller.
Yeah.
It's a great breakfast beer.
It's great. It is good.
Some people are like, that's my favorite beer I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, great. Awesome.
Of all time, number one. That's their number one.
We just want to put some breakfast cereal in a beer and pair the malt to match with it. And hey, it works.
The problem is they're going to come in a month and be like, hey, let me have a Honey Nut Hoppios. And we're like, we're not making that right now. And they'll be like, oh, this is the worst place ever.
Put on the Yelp.
Wait till I Yelp them.
You guys South Park fans at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're not Yelping? That's one of my favorite episodes of all time.
We did
we did Yelp sauce last year.
Yeah, we did Yelp sauce at an event.
Yelp sauce?
Yeah.
What? You got to explain that. What the?
No, I think
that's. You had to see the episode.
Maybe
you really
we
need
should
to see that
explain it.
episode.
Oh, you mean from the South Park episode?
Yeah. So it wasn't that sauce.
Yeah.
We just called it.
Yeah.
Yelp sauce.
There's nothing nefarious there whatsoever, I promise everybody.
All right. Health code. Speaking of OSHA, right?
It was all above board. It was all health code approved.
Okay, all right.
It was all food grade ingredients.
All right.
It wasn't anything weird.
Yeah.
But it was a poke because these people that jump on Yelp that are so self-centered and sanctimonious think that their opinion matters. And hey, if you tell us that we did something wrong and we legitimately did something wrong, all right.
Please tell us. Please let us know.
Please, we'd love to improve.
Yeah.
But
don't slander us because you think your experience was a tick off.
Yeah, there was a brewery in the valley that got a really bad Yelp review after they first opened because they didn't have nachos. And anybody that hears that reference will know exactly what I'm talking about.
What kind of brewery opens without nachos?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
This place sucks. They don't even have nachos.
Sucks.
And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Like that was the grid. I'm grading it based on that.
That's why they got 1 star. They don't even have nachos. They're a brewery and I was like, are you effing kidding me? Like, maybe you should never go out to eat ever again.
I mean, I know
your
that's
expectations are
that's
wild.
what I've been told they teach you in brew school. You make beer and nachos, and then you can open up a brewery.
That's all you need.
That's
beer
the
and
baseline.
nachos. Yeah,
literally all you need.
That is true. Okay, yeah, you've got the beer, but can you make nachos? No, get the hell out of here.
But can you do nachos?
Close your doors.
Right.
So, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
those kind of people need to stay at the concession stand at their local T-ball game and just eat the food over there.
I think you'll see that if you listen to what we say and if you watch what we do and how we name our beers and some of the events that we do, you'll see constantly that we are always poking. We are always poking the man, the establishment, society, you for being ridiculous. Like, we will always, always, always push that button. And we don't do it to alienate people. We do it to include people. We do it to draw people in. We do it to get a rise out of people and like get a smile on their face. But man, we like to poke, and so we do it from time to time. But
it also weeds out the people though too, right? It attracts the people that are like-minded.
It attracts the right people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. People are like, well, that's offensive. I'm like, you're kind of a douche, so get out.
Maybe.
Oh, you're offended? You're offended by that? Oh, you haven't been hanging out that long. All right, cool.
Perhaps you would like 8 pitchers of Bud Light on your Sunday.
That's right.
Have fun. Please go somewhere else and do that.
Here's some nachos with some Yelp sauce.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, hey. Easy.
Easy.
Yeah. Whoa. Hey.
What's so? And I even like the names too. You were talking about the names. I love these names. There was one that really stood out. I mean, obviously the 480G, but like in the descriptions, there was something of a metric F ton of hops.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's technical talk.
It's
a
super
technical.
Super
technical.
And I had to scale back a little bit. I dropped the fuck ton and went for F ton just to play nice, because I thought people would maybe order that on Sundays, and I don't want to offend everybody.
Yeah.
Just most people.
Well, there's also the hashtag "Don't fucking worry about it."
Oh, that's a full F-bomb right in there, huh?
Yeah,
that's in a hashtag.
No, it's a hashtag. It's not an F-bomb.
It's a hashtag,
It's in a
so it's
hashtag.
okay.
It's fucking.
Yeah. It's not even.
There's no G on it.
Yeah. It's all one word.
Yeah.
You put a hashtag in front of anything, you can say whatever you want.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a hashtag.
Yeah. But Dude, you guys are doing awesome. Love all of these beers. Everything that I've had. I haven't had the stout yet, but I've heard that Morning Sex is that's another flagship.
That's
for you guys.
number 3. So it
Three.
goes 480G, Lolly, Morning Sex. That's number 1, 2, and 3. I'd say number 4, if we made it consistently all the time, would be Top Secret Battle Monkey. That's our double IPA. I'd say that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. But we don't always have Battle Monkey on, and so it's kind of hard to gauge that one.
New beers also jump up there those first couple weeks. Our anniversary beer is selling like hotcakes
number one
now.
right now. Yeah,
it is number one.
Okay, yeah.
And then anytime there's a new release, let's say Nugas, when it first came out, it was a slow hitter. Like it sat around for a while, and then people were like, "Oh wait, you guys do a New England style? Oh wait, that's delicious." We had to
the second batch was like fire.
was gone. Yeah.
Gone.
Why do you think it took so long the first one?
Because it was just we'd never done a hazy beer, a hazy cloudy beer here. So people were like, "Well, what is that? I don't know. Is anybody else ordering it?"
I didn't order a Hefeweizen.
You can totally look across the bar and go, "Okay, they're drinking this, they're drinking that, and ooh, what's that?" Like when we came out with Prick, our Session New England style IPA, it's bright pink. So everybody was like, "Hey, what is that?" I mean, just the visual on alone sold half that beer.
Everybody wanted it, but nobody wanted a prick in their mouth.
It's weird. Nobody wanted a prick in their mouth.
I don't know.
Totally weird.
Listen, I can't live your life for you.
Yeah, right. That's true. If you're not going to experiment and do a little research.
Do your research.
Yeah.
One pint at a time.
Yeah. Guys, hey, this has been awesome. Really appreciate you guys sitting here talking with us.
Sure.
You guys at home, you got to come here. Oh, the food. I forgot to even mention the food. Food's badass too. Like at barbecue pulled pork, when I saw that it was like you guys smoke it in house, I was like, usually I'm like, I've got these 3 things. I was gonna ask Jenna like, which one should I go with? Saw you guys smoking here. I'm like, no, that's the real deal.
So our whole menus, I'd say it's about 90% scratch, right? So like we bring all of our bread comes in from a local bread supplier, but for the most part, it's scratch. We've got a. Going back to our earlier comments about how Greg and I went to all these breweries, right? So you go to all these different breweries, and the ones that stand out are the brew pubs. And then of those brew pubs, you find out really, really quick that most of them are half-stepping when it comes to food.
Right, freezer to fryer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can taste that.
Yeah, they've got an amazing beer lineup, and then their food is just like not hitting at all. And it's like you can tell when somebody pulls something. You can tell when somebody brings jalapeno poppers out of the freezer, fries them up in the fryer, and then brings them out to you. And it's like, hey, this is food. You should pay me for it. And I'm like, I could have just, done appetizers at home. Same thing, right? It's
These
horrible.
are TGI Friday frozen poppers,
so it's
right?
just like Greg and I are both
Thank you.
foodies. Like we're both amateur foodies. Like we cook our own meals at home. We like to mess around in the kitchen. We both know how to use a knife, and I know how to cook a meal. So like, why are we going to deliver a shit product to our consumers? I'm not opening something out of the freezer, frying it up, and expecting you to pay me for it. So we take a potato and we cut it and we make French fries out of a potato, a real potato.
Is that like a
Fresh.
hipster
it's
thing?
a root. No, it's a root vegetable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very rare, very rare. It's a rare root vegetable that you find in the Pacific Northwest. And what we do is we've got a contract where we can get those exclusively. We're the only ones that can get it.
amazing.
If you guys are looking for French fries,
No big deal.
we're the only ones.
Like BRI and vodka makers, that's the only ones that get them.
That's it. So but we take that care. Like I want to cut that potato, I want to blanch it, and then I want to fry it, and I want to bring you a real potato when you order French fries. We take all of our meat comes from whole cuts. We cut it down into what we want it. We roast those off. We smoke those off. We do whatever we're going to do to prepare that. Our machaca is slow roasted overnight. Our pulled pork is slow roasted overnight. Like we make our food, and we don't open a seasoning packet, and we don't open a bottle of sauce. Like we make our sauces. We flavor our food with our own ingredients, with real peppers, not a spice pack. Like we want to make it because we're proud of it, and we want our food to match up the quality of our beer. And again, just back to our early days in experiencing brew pubs, we would just see that the main owner, the principal, was definitely a brewer, and then maybe brought on a kitchen manager, or you could always tell when there was a kitchen partner and when there wasn't. And so with our food backgrounds, we just said, if we can't make it, let's just not do it. And so
If we can't do it right, let's not do it at all.
Right. So when you look at our menu, we've only got 28 items on our menu. And at the beginning of the year, it's going to be even smaller because we're going to have a new menu come out. But I would rather not do it than to do it half-assed.
Do it bad. Yeah. Yeah.
To fake it.
Yeah.
There's 100 different ways we could do things easier back there to save money, to save labor, to raise our profits, and we just won't do it because if we can't do it the right way, we're just not going to do it. So some days you might walk in here and there might be something 86th off the menu, and that's going to disappoint you. But it doesn't disappoint me because I know that we couldn't have delivered that to you in the quality that we expect to deliver it to you. So I'd rather 86 it off the menu and tell you can't get that today. Yeah. Sorry, next time, that's cool. But today you can't get that. I'd rather have that conversation than, we opened this box of freezer burnt shit and threw it in the oven and here you go.
Yeah, you're expecting this. I would rather not have it than have it and then like,
what's this?
Yeah, because then next time you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Next time you're going to come in if it wasn't there.
We've got to go home every night and go to sleep knowing that we're not doing it right, and neither one of us are wired to do that.
That's what's happening with some of the new breweries coming out is that they're not putting out quality products, and then people go in and they go, "Oh, this is craft beer. This is craft beer."
Like that's in their mind, that's the representation.
Yeah, so they're not going to hit another craft
Can't
brewery.
do that.
They're not going to hit another. Try out another place because if someone's doing it really bad, that's their first thought. Well, that's craft beer. Yeah. I've had that. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
That's interesting.
If you're going to open a brewery, fledge it out, man.
Yeah.
Make sure you're going to hit full steam.
That's true. Well, guys, thanks so much. This has been great.
Yeah. Easy stuff.
Speaking of our food, did you try the meat candy?
No. What is? I don't even know.
Sriracha candied bacon.
No, I'm gonna have to get some.
Yeah,
my glass is empty. I gotta get a beer.
Super spicy. It goes really well with all of our IPAs.
Yeah.
You get 6 sticks in a glass. You have to try it.
6 sticks in a glass.
6 sticks of bacon.
We serve you a pint of meat candy.
Pint of meat candy.
Meat candy. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to try it.
Here's the thing. Don't ask questions. Just go with it.
Just
do it.
Absolutely.
Hey, you'll be fine. I promise. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Call my wife. Honey, I'm gonna be a little bit late. Laying on the ground.
I'm sorry, I got meat candied.
I got meat candied.
You got a drive-by meat candy at BRI?
BRI, yeah. She's like, I've seen Matt before. He seems like a guy that would do that. Yeah. So, where can they find you guys? Online? You guys do social media?
BRI.beer. That's the website. You can get us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. The Beer Research Institute or BRI Brew Pub, depending on which platform you're on. But we're out there, and then from time to time, people like to podcast us and do beer blogs about us. So you can find us at other places as well.
Other locations as well. Yeah.
All the locations.
The 60. What is it? Southeast corner of the 60 and Stapley.
Southeast corner of the 60 and Stapley. We are the closest brewery to any major freeway ever.
Ever?
Ever.
In the world.
Ever.
Wow.
In the world.
We're going
to say that today.
You can fact check that.
We're putting our flag in that statement. Yeah. We are the closest brewery to any freeway ever. Also, we are the closest brewery to the AMC 24 located at Stapley and Baseline. That's a fact.
Ever.
True fact.
It's a fact.
Ever.
True
wow.
fact.
All right, we're going to end on that.
Tell your mom.
Yeah.
Tell your mom, write a book.
Well,
next chapter.
Guys, thanks. This was great.
Good to go.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for your support of the craft beer scene here in Arizona. Our goal is to put Arizona beer on the map, and we need your help. So spread the word. Tell someone you know who might like to listen to this. Check out these breweries that we're covering. Watch the videos on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast app to get notifications when we release new material. And always remember, stay awesome.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Cheers.